Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another game in the 1987 American League replay. We are at game number 133 on the season. It's another game from the April 28th block. We are at the Mistake by the Lake as the Cleveland Indians host the Chicago White Sox. And we'll go ahead and look at the pertinent data for the game. The standings, first of all. Hello, Ben. How you doing? Before we get up to the second standings in the East and the West, Cleveland finds itself at 8-12, 7 back of Milwaukee, and Chicago is 3 games back of Oakland, but only 1 back in the loss column. So they are right on the tails of the Oakland A's. So not sure Cleveland can do much because they're so far back from Milwaukee, but Chicago definitely could be using a victory right about now. Pitchers for today's game: Ken Schrom for the Cleveland Indians, Joel Davis for the White Sox. Ballpark effects: singles are 1-11 for both sides. And for home runs, 1-8 for lefties, 1-11 for right-handers. Pitcher-catcher quotient: Schrom's a 0 because Dempsey's a +1, but Schrom's a -1. Davis is a -4, and Fisk is a 0, so he's a -4. Wild pitch ratings: 5 wild pitch and 5 balk for Schrom. For Davis, 4 wild pitch and 0 balk. And both catchers have pass ball ratings of 3. So 10-6 White Sox against the 8-12 Cleveland Indians. Hello, Ernest. So we will get this game going. Do have to bring it up on the Strat computer, of course, so that can score the game as we play it. And, of course, get you the stats as they come up. Those warm-up tosses. And we'll get his numbers on the replay momentarily. All right, Kenny Schrom, right-hander. So far in 1987 on the Strat replay, he is 1-1 with a 5.75 earned run average. 20 innings pitched, 22 hits, 10 walks, 8 strikeouts. And we'll get the numbers on Davis in the bottom of the first. So here in the hello midlife, how you doing? Yep, split day-night doubleheader. Well, I mean, the only reason that was because I was off today. I'm back to work tomorrow, so it's back to nighttime baseball, except for Saturdays. Saturday or Sunday, then the daytime can kick into play. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to be nighttime. This is just a rare occasion. All right, so Gary Reedus will lead things off. He's hitting .349, a homer and 8 runs driven in, and we are underway from Cleveland. We get a 6-8 on Schrom, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. So the first chance is a X chance for Julio Franco. He's a 2. 2 and an 8, he'll get to that. And now we have to figure out the error chances for Franco. He's an E26, so he's got to avoid 12, 17, and 18. And that is a 15, so he's definitely good to go. Reedus is out, 6-3. And we're underway. So Reedus is out of there, and here comes Donnie Hill, second baseman. Donnie Hill struggling at a .180, 2 homers, 6 driven in. Switch hitting second baseman. 1-7, and he's going to ground it to first. Joe Carter playing first base in this game. Will take it to the bag himself. There you can see the lineups for both teams pretty clearly, I guess. And then I'll bring up Greg Walker, first baseman. He's hitting a .175, a homer and 8 driven in. 6-9 for Schrom is a ground ball to second, and that's handled by Bernazard. And the White Sox go quietly in their half of the first. 3 up and 3 down. So nothing doing for the Chi Sox at the end of half an inning. It's Chicago nothing and Cleveland coming to bat. Yeah, I've got one more 90s Reds game for the History Maker to put out. That's the final game of the Expo series. I'll probably put it out tomorrow. I've already played it, just got to put it out. And then on Saturday morning, I should be starting a new series with the Reds as they host Philadelphia. Jose Rijo against Ken Howell, the matchup in that one. That'll be game number 16 on the season. All right, so Joel Davis for the White Sox is 0-2. His ERA is 17.18. 7 innings pitched, 14 hits, 8 walks, and 2 strikeouts. So he has definitely had his challenges. He was 1-5 with a 5.73 in real world, but he's taken it to a new level in this one. He is really struggling. So see if he can turn things around against Mr. Bernazard. Bernazard on the replay is hitting .290, 3 homers and 10 driven in. That's a 6-8. Switch hitter batting left, struck him out. So Davis off to a good start with the strikeout. And that'll bring up Julio Franco, the shortstop. Franco on the replay is hitting .314, a homer and 10 driven in. .412. That's ground ball back to Davis. Easy play. 2 up and 2 down for Joe Carter, who plays a lot of the outfield positions, but now today he's playing first base. In fact, he played more games at first than any other position because that's what Strat has him listed as the most. So he's at first base, but he's really struggling. In 91 at bats, he's only hitting a .143, a homer and 3 runs driven in. He walked 5 times, struck out 23. So you talk about a slow start. 310, and he's still off to a slow start. That's a fly to left. So the average is just going to get worse for Mr. Joe. And 3 up and 3 down go the Tribe. At the end of 1, no score from the mistake by the lake. Ken Schrom back out for second inning of work, and he'll be facing the designated hitter Ron Hasse, also backup catcher, but DHing in this game. Hasse hitting a .184, a home run 4 driven in. It's 2-6 for Hasse. That's a 1-14 double. Anything else he flies to right, that's a 17, so it will be a fly out. And Corey Snyder hauls it in, 1 away. So Davis got lucky there. Here comes Pudge, Carlton Fisk, doing the catching. And he's hitting .320, a homer and 6 driven in. 4-8, and that's going to improve. 1-6 is a double, 7-20 is a single. So a 1-out single by Pudge. He, of course, will not be held, will not go anywhere. And that brings up right fielder Ivan Calderon, hitting .339, 3 homers, 11 driven in. First havoc roll of the game. And here comes Calderon. 2-4, fly to center. And that is taken in by Gallagher, 2 down. And now here comes Darrell Boston, center fielder. Boston is hitting .302, 4 homers, 11 driven in. That's a 2-4, and he's going to ground it to first. Says B, which would normally be a fielder's choice, but Joe Carter, with the 3rd out, would just take it to the bag himself rather than someone score it that way instead of the fielder's choice. Just makes more sense that way. Either way, it doesn't matter. The inning's over. White Sox get nothing. We go to the bottom of the second. Still no score. And Joel Davis coming back out will face Mel Hall, Corey Snyder, and Pat Tabler. So Mel Hall, the left-handed hitting left fielder in this game. He's hitting .368, 2 homers, 11 driven in. .310, and that is a ground ball right back to Davis. .311 would have been a home run chance, but this one's a ground ball right back to Davis. 1 away. Brings up right fielder Corey Snyder. Snyder hitting .247, 3 homers, 8 driven in. 2-4, and that's a ground ball to short. Guillen will handle it. Over to Walker, 2 down. So I was expecting a higher scoring game, but so far these pitchers are holding their own. Oh, I forgot to give Davis his numbers. My bad on that. Well, it's already going to be incorporated in what he's done today already. But he's 0-2 with an ERA of 14. 9 innings pitched, 14 hits, 8 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So his record is 0-2. All right. So Tabler steps up. Tabler hitting .409, 4 homers, 16 driven in. 6-4, and that's a ground ball third base X. That is Hewlett. He's a 4. 4-13, he'll get to it. The error chances for an E22 third baseman: 12, 14, 16, 15, and 18. So basically 12 through 18 except for 13 and 15. And that is a 12. That'll be an error right there on Mr. Hewlett. He's an E22, and the 12 is right there as a one-base error. So Hewlett boots it, keeps the inning going. One-base error on Hewlett. Hey, D. Scott, how are you doing? Come on, why is this thing acting up on me? There we go. Okay. All right, so the error on Hewlett keeps the inning going. Tabler will not be held. And that'll bring up Brooke Jacoby, the third baseman. Jacoby hitting .413, 4 homers and 18 driven in. 2, chance of a balk or a pass ball. We're looking at a chance of a pass ball on Fisk, which is a 3. No pass ball. He blocks it. So the pitch to Jacoby. 3-6, and that's going to be a 1-10 single. That's a 6. So Jacoby will keep the inning going with a base hit. First hit of the game for the Tribe. And now we're in a clutch situation for Dave Gallagher, Mr. Ofer. Gallagher is 0 for 27 on the season. And he's not even rated for any kind of clutch. He's 0 for 27, 3 walks and a strikeout. What a time to get his first hit if he can get it. 5-7, ground ball second base X. That is going to be Hill. He's a 4. 4-2, so Gallagher will get his first hit. How about that? A 4 and a 2 is an SI2, and that's going to score Tabler. Unearned run. Jacoby will go to third. Gallagher will reach. Now we're checking for an error on Hill. He's an E11, so he's got to avoid 15, 17, and 18, which he does, but he can't stop the base hit from going through. Gallagher gets his first base hit of the season. He's now 1 for 28, and it's an RBI single to boot. And it was that error by Hewlett that kept the inning going and allowed Cleveland to score that run. They're still going at it. Here's Rick Dempsey, the catcher. Dempsey hitting .265, a homer and 10 driven in. 2 again. Chance for another balk or pass ball. Another pass ball chance on Fisk. He's a 3. There is no pass ball, so Dempsey will hit. 3-5, and he's going to fly to center to end the inning. But Cleveland gets an unearned run thanks to the Hewlett error. And at the end of 2, it's Cleveland 1 and the Sox nothing. Ken Schrom will be facing the bottom of the order, Hewlett, Guillen, and then top of the order, Reedus. Hewlett trying to atone for the error. Hewlett hitting only a .155, a homer, and 4 driven in. 5-11 for Schrom is a fly ball left field X. That's Hall. He's a 3. 3 and an 8 should be okay. 3 and an 8 is an F1, so that's good enough. His error is an E4, which means he has to avoid 3, 4, 15, and 18, which he does. So Mel Hall retires Hewlett. One down, and that brings up Ozzie Guillen. Guillen on the replay is hitting .281. 1 homer, 6 driven in. 411 to a lefty is a fly ball left field X. We're going to test Mel Hall again. 12 is good enough. He'll get to it again as an E4. Just has to avoid 3, 4, 15, and 18. And he does. So Hall makes the play again. 2 up and 2 down. 2 flyouts to left. And top of the order, Gary Reedus back. Reedus grounded to short his first trip. That's a 5-8, and that's a fly to center. I'm sorry, 5-8's a pop to third. We're going to pop it up to Jacoby to end the inning. So Schrom, 3 shutout innings at the White Sox. Off to a good start for him as he seeks his second win of the season. Go to the bottom of the third. Joel Davis back out. And it'll be the top of the order, Bernazard, Franco, and Carter for Cleveland. Bernazard struck out his first change. Shitter batting left. He's going to strike out again. So Bernazard 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. Not good if your leadoff man is doing. Here's Franco. 5-8, and that is going to be a fly to left. Put away out there by Reedus. 2 down. And Joe Carter, the batter. 6-8, and that's a fly to center to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down go the Tribe. Go the fourth, it's still 1-0. That unearned run is still holding up. Did I roll a 5-9? Where was the 5-9? Which, did I read something wrong? Was the Franco at bat a 5-9 instead of a 5-8? If that's the case, it's just a difference between a fly to left and a fly to right. Oh, you're going way back to Guillen. All right, a 5-9. Yes, they're both fly to centers, actually. If Guillen's batting, a 5-9 is a fly to center C, and an 8 is a fly to center B. So it ends up being the same, fortunately. Assuming that's one you were talking about. Fortunately, the results don't, it doesn't change. Oh, and Franco, same thing. With Joel Davis up there, a 5-8 is a fly to left, and a 5-9 is a fly to right. So it's just a matter of whether you want the right fielder or the left fielder to get the put out. So I could go ahead and make that a 5-9. So I have to go back in the computer and fix that so that he gets the 5-9 put out and not the. So Carter, undo that last play, and we go to Franco. So Franco's going to fly to right, and Carter's going to pop to third, rather. Okay, now we're straight. Thank you, Ben, for that. Now, I'd still like to know, because it's very easy to misread these columns when you're doing a video. Very, very easy to do that. I think everybody who streams has done that at least once. So, all right, here's Donnie Hill. Donnie Hill grounded to first in his first at bat. 5-3, and that is a fly ball right field X, and that's Corey Snyder. He's a 2. 2 and a 16, he'll get to it, but E11 might be a little troublesome on the E11. On an E11, he's got to avoid 4, 16, 13, 15, 3, and 18. So there's a lot of numbers there to avoid. That's a 12, so I think he's going to be okay. E11, there is no 12 there, so Snyder, a little bit of problems with it, but he hangs on for the out. A little snow cone action. And that'll bring up Greg Walker. Walker grounded to Bernazard his first trip. 5-5 to the lefty is a line out to first, and Joe Carter snags it. 2 down. So Schrom pitching really well, only allowing the single to Fisk. That's been the only base runner he's allowed. Here's Hassett. 2-7, and that's a pop out to short. Franco is there. Very easy 4th inning for Ken Schrom. And we go to the bottom of the 4th, still 1-0 Tribe. Joel Davis back out. And he'll be facing Hall, Snyder, and Tabler for Cleveland. .610 to the left-hander is a fly ball center field X. That's Darryl Boston. He's a 3. 3-20. He'll get to it. Now his error rating is an E4. So a center fielder E4 has to avoid 4 and 16. The only 2 error numbers he needs to avoid. And he does. So Boston makes the play. 1 away, and Hall is retired. Here is Corey Snyder, right fielder, and he grounded to short in his first at bat. 2-5, and that's a split chance. 1-2 is a single. That's a 13, though, so it's a line out to short. 2 down. And since I got rid of the other white D20 and replaced it with this white D20, the numbers I noticed have been going better on these, not having all these wild pitches and base hits when the chances are 5% and all that sort of stuff. So here's Tabler, reached on a 1-base error and scored. 3-9, and he's going to fly to center field. Boston is there again, and the inning is over. So 3 up, 3 down. Go the Tribe at the end of 4. It's still 1-0. Hello, Kevin. Schrom has a fatigue of 5, so this is his point of weakness inning because his fatigue number is a 5. But he's pitching a 1-hit shutout at the moment. And the only guy to get a hit was this guy, Carlton Fisk. So we'll see if Fisk can do it again. That's a 3-2, and that's a walk. So that's the first notch against this point of weakness. First walk issued by Schrom. Fisk, of course, will not be held. And here's Calderon. Hello, Mr. Vega. So Calderon at the plate. Fisk not being held. Calderon flew to center his first chance. That's a 3-9, and that's a ground ball shortstop A, just what the doctor ordered. 6-4-3 double play. And 2 quick outs just like that. Schrom says, ye of little faith, don't believe in me. Just watch me. And here comes Darryl Boston. 4-7, and that's a 1-4 triple. 5-20 is going to be a single, so it will be a single for Boston. So Schrom not out of the woods yet. Boston has a chance to possibly steal. 0 on the pitcher-catcher quotient, so it'd be a 1-13 if he got the lead. And to get the lead, needs a 2-7 or an 11. That's 10. He will not get the lead, so he cannot go anywhere. And here comes Hewlett. 6-5, and that is an in-home run, 1-10, but that's a 14. It will still be a double. So we'll see if Boston will score. He was being held. He runs to the 16, was being held, makes him a 15, but 2 outs makes him a 17. Center fielder arm for the Tribe Gallagher is a 0. So that is a 1-17. I'll double check the numbers again. Boston here, or did I say 1-16? Let's see. Boston was at first base. Runs at a 15, was being held, makes him a 14. 2 outs makes it a 16. So it's a 1-16. They will throw through to home plate. Hewlett would take third on the throw, but they got to try to get him at the plate. 1-16, he scores. 17-20, and Gallagher will throw him out. 17, Gallagher throws him out. So Gallagher bails out Schrom with a great throw. And we're going to say it's going to go 8-6-2 to end the inning and get Schrom off the hook. Although Schrom technically is tired now because that was his third hit allowed. So it's going to go 8 to 6 to 2 as Gallagher hit the cutoff man, Franco, and Franco fired a laser to Dempsey, who blocked the plate and put the tag on Mr. Boston. Schrom is now tired, though, so as he goes into the 6th inning, he will be tired. Just a matter of whether they want to stick with him or not. And I guess if you're still pitching a shutout, so I guess they're going to stick with him a little bit longer. But he basically got bailed out by a great throw from Gallagher. All right, so Joel Davis, this is his fatigue inning, number 5 as well. And he'll be facing Gallagher got a hit his last time up. It was off the pitcher card, though. It was actually an RBI single off the pitcher card, so it did not get off his own card. All right, here is Jacoby. 1-7, and Jacoby 1-3 is a triple, but that's a 12, so it will be a fly to center. 1 away. Still 1-0, and here's Gallagher. Gallagher is now hitting .036. He's 1 for 28. That's a 2-9, and he's going to ground to second. 2 down, and it's now 1 for 29. But as soon as Brett Butler comes back, Gallagher will be gone. And that will happen probably very shortly. There's Dempsey, 4-2. Ground ball back to Joel Davis, so nothing against his point of weakness. He keeps full endurance into the 6th. And we go to the 6th, it's still 1-0. So top of the 6th, again, Schrom is tired, so we'll keep an eye on those dots. And my house rule is if I pitch a guy that's tired and he gives up a hit off a dot, he's got to come out. It's sort of like the inside pitch rule about, if you're fatigued and you get the parentheses and you give up a hit, that's what it is. So bullpen activity for the Indians. Doug Jones is not on the roster. I think he must be hurt or something, but the computer does not have him on the roster. I have 4 relievers. I have Steve Carlton, Rich Yett, Ed Vandenberg, and Ernie Camacho. So they have 2 lefties and 2 right-handers. So I got to figure out who's got the most endurance or who hasn't pitched in the most amount of time. I think Carlton's might be the most rested. But I will verify that. Yeah, Carlton's the most rested. They do have another pitcher on the team, Frank Wills, but he only pitched 5 innings in real life. So he was not carded. I don't have a card for him. If I got into a pinch, I could use him and just let you know if it gets off his card what's going on. But we're going to have Steve Carlton loosening the bullpen in back of Schrom. Hello, Mr. Robert. How are you doing? Your ears must have been burning, Robert, because I just mentioned you earlier as far as pulling a fatigue pitcher in inside pitch. When he hits the parentheses, he has to be pulled. And my house rule here is if a pitcher gives up a single because of a dot on his card, I automatically pull him as well. So, all right, here's Bernazard. He will lead things. Not Bernazard. What am I doing? White Sox are batting. Ozzie Guillen. Mr. Guillen is going to lead off. 3-3, and that's a pop out to second base. Oops, I put the wrong thing here. It's all out of sorts when Robert gets here for some reason. Not paying attention. All right, so pop out to second by Guillen, and that brings up the top of the order in Gary Reedus. Reedus is 0 for 2. 5-7, ground ball second base X. That is Bernazard. He's a 4. That can be trouble. 4-18. He'll get to it, though. Now the E22, he's got to avoid on an E22. He has to avoid 12, 17, and 18. And he does. So it's good play for Bernazard. Handles a tough hop. Throws Ritas out. 2 away. 4, Donnie Hill. So this 1-0 ball game is very surprising. I was expecting more like 7-6 with the pitchers we had. Hill 6-9, switch hitter batting left is a ground ball to second. So, boy, Bernazard involved in all 3 outs. 1 put out and 2 assists. And Schrom keeps, he's fatigued, but he's going to still keep going. He gave up nothing there. So, still got the lead after 6 innings. So, might still leave him in there. Although, got Walker and Hassey coming up. So, I think that's going to be it for Schrom. I think they're going to actually pull Schrom before he implodes, as someone said in the chat. So we're going to cap Schrom at 6 innings. That way he can win it, but he can't lose it, especially with those lefties coming up. So Joel Davis is back out. He has full endurance. He gave up nothing on his point of weakness inning, and he'll be facing Bernazard. It's a 3-9, and he's going to ground it to first. Greg Walker will take it to the bag himself, 1 away. Steve Carlton will be the new pitcher for the Tribe in the top of the 7th. Here's Julio Franco. 5-4. That's an in-home run chance. 1-3. That's a 9, though. It will be a triple for Julio Franco. So maybe Cleveland trying to give Carlton a little more room to work with. Franco with a triple. So the infield is going to have to come in for the struggling Joe Carter. 3-8, and he struck him out. Boy, he's still struggling. I can't believe how much Joe Carter is struggling. He has just been awful. Just been awful. That's all I can tell you. It's been awful. All right, so Mel Hall now in a clutch situation with 2 outs and a runner at third. And in the clutch, Mel Hall is neutral. He has no clutch ratings whatsoever. Davis to Hall. 2-7, and he strikes out. So Davis pitches around that triple and keeps the score 1-0. So we will go to the top of the 7th, and Steve Carlton, the venerable Steve Carlton, will be coming on to pitch for the Indians. But we get the numbers first. We get the numbers first on Schrom. And obviously, he's pitched very well, can win it, cannot lose it. So Schrom goes 6 innings, gives up 3 hits, no runs. Walked 1, didn't strike anybody out. That's a little bit unusual. So a very unusual line score for Schrom. But the runs are what counts. So the goose egg is what counts. So Schrom is exiting. And entering is the venerable Steve Carlton. Carlton will later end up in Minnesota, but right now he's with the Indians. All right, so Carlton's a -1, so that makes a 0 quotient. All right, let's get the numbers on Carlton on the replay. Carlton's 1-0 with 2 saves and a 1.15 earned run average. 16 innings pitched, 11 hits, 8 walks, and 9 strikeouts. And he's going to be scheduled to face, I should say, Greg Walker, Ron Hassey, and Fisk, although they could pinch hit for Hassey because he's a DH and they could bring in a right-hander. But right now they're going with Walker. That's a 5-12 for Carlton. That's a ballpark blast right off the bat. And for a left-hander, that's a 1-8. That's a 2. He's got normal power, and it is gone. Steve Carlton gives up the lead on one swing of the bat. How you like that? 5-12, ballpark blast. Lefty on lefty, ballpark blast. He's got normal power. Home runs are 1-8, and that's a 2. So Greg Walker just uncorked his second home run of the season, and the good pitching by Ken Schrom has gone to waste. Carlton has blown the save on the very first at-bat. And now for the Sox, see if they pinch hit for Hasse. Could very well do that. They're going to bring in Jerry Hairston to be the new DH. So Hasse will be replaced by Hairston. And Hairston will DH the remainder of the game. So Hairston DH in the 7th. So we'll bring on Hairston and get his numbers. Hairston on the replay, 1 for 6. He's hitting $167. No homers, no runs driven in, obviously, but limited at bats, so it's good to get him some at bats. That's a 5-10, and that's a ballpark blast. He's got normal power. It's 1-8, and that's a 4. Carlton has given up his second home run, back-to-back jacks. And just like that, the White Sox have taken the lead. Pinch hit home run for Jerry Hairston on a 5-10 against lefties. 5-10 would have been a catcher X. So again, brilliant managing, bringing in the right-hander instead of the left-hander against Carlton. That's just brilliant managing, and that got him the home run. Home run, Jerry Hairston. And Carlton doesn't know what to think of it. And speaking of Carlton, we got Carlton against Carlton. Steve Carlton and Carlton Fisk. (1-9), and that's a pop out to third. He pops out to Jacoby, but the White Sox grab a 2-1 lead, and all of a sudden now Joel Davis is in position to get a win. And Schrom said, "You can't blame me." Calderon, 5-7. That's a walk. You wonder how much longer Carlton's going to hang around. He's not doing so well. Here's Darryl Boston. It is lefty on lefty, but they like Boston's defense, so they're going to leave him in there. Since they have the lead, they will leave him in. 1-11, and that's a ballpark single check. It's 1-11, but that's a 15. He's going to ground to third. Fielder's choice. 5-4, second out of the inning. New runner at first is Boston. And they'll hold him on, but he won't try anything. They're going to let Hewlett see if he can do something. He doubled the last time up. (3-5) against the left-hander is a ground ball to short. And that's going to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the seventh inning stretch time here in Cleveland. Fans are restless as Carlton gives up 2 home runs, and the Tribe fall behind 2-1. So Joel Davis back out. He only has 1 ding against his point of weakness, so he's still going. Bullpen activity for the Sox just in case. And we'll see who's the most rested reliever for the White Sox. And if anybody has to be rested, no one has to be rested. So let's see here. Bill Long has got the most rest. So we'll see if they go to Bill Long or somebody else. Hello, Brian. Didn't see you coming in. Sorry to hear about that situation. All right, here's Snyder against Davis, 5-6. That's a 1-14 single. That's an 11, so it'll be a single for Corey Snyder. And now Bill Long throwing a little bit more fervently in the bullpen. And Pat Tabler is your batter. Snyder will not be held. That's a 5-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. We are looking at Donnie Hill. He's a 4. That could be problems. 4 and an 8. Best you're going to do there probably is a fielder's choice. 4 and an 8 is a G3. Not even going to be a fielder's choice. It's going to be a G3. But since the runner was not being held, he's not responsible, so that pound sign doesn't affect anything. So it will be a G3. He's an E11, so you got to avoid 15, 17, and 18, which he does. So it's going to be a runner advance. Snyder will take second base. So it acted like a sacrifice bunt, pretty much. And now Brooke Jacoby, the batter. Snyder not being held at second. 6-4, and that is a ground ball third base X. We're looking at Hewley. He's already made one error in this game. He's a 4. It's a 1. That's going to get through for a base hit, single, 2 stars, and that will score the run, and we are now tied at 2. Check for an error, E22. Basically 12 through 18. Without the 13, there's 17. And no, it's good. Not going to make the error, but it is a single for Jacoby, and we are tied. And since we're in the 7th inning, we can pinch hit for Mr. Gallagher. How about that? So Mr. Gallagher will be removed from the game. And coming in to pinch hit, Cleveland actually added a player. I don't know if I have his card or not. Doug Frobel, an outfielder, was added to the roster. I guess he took Doug Jones's place. But I don't have his card in front of me, so we're going to have either Chris Bando, Carmen Castillo, Andre Thornton, or Otis Nixon do the hitting. So it looks to be Carmen Castillo. Carmen Castillo will do the pinch hitting, and then Otis Nixon will take over in center field. So Otis Nixon will take over in center field, but Carmen Castillo, the much better hitter, will hit, and Gallagher will step aside. So Castillo will hit. Now the question is, do they bring in Bill Long, or do they go with Davis? They're gonna go ahead and pull Davis and go with Bill Long. So a lot of things going on at the same time here. Hello, Mr. Little. So Bill Long will take over for Mr. Davis. Davis can't win it. He could possibly lose it if that inherited runner scores, but he's hoping for a no decision, obviously. So Bill Long will come on and pitch to the pinch hitter Carmen Castillo. So let's write these things in. Number 2 is Castillo, pinch hitting for Gallagher. And Nixon will take over in center in the 8th. All right, so Castillo will face Long. First, let's get the pitcher Long in the game. Can't close the book on the starting pitcher Davis just yet because the runner on base is his responsibility. Long, in limited duty, he's only had 3 innings of pitching. He's 0-0 with no saves and a 3.38 earned run average. 3 innings pitched, 2 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. When I say 3 innings, it could be 3 1/3, 3 2/3. The Strat computer rounds, so I don't know exactly how many innings he's pitched, but it's close enough. It's in the ballpark. Carmen Castillo is hitting 250, 5 for 20. I do know that much, with 2 doubles and 4 runs batted in. So long to Castillo. Runner at first. Jacoby not being held. Nothing on the havoc. 2-2 tie, bottom of the 7th. 4-7, and that is a ground ball, second base X. Jacoby's not being held, so Hill will keep his 4 rating, but that didn't help him last time. It's not going to help him here. 4-2 is not going to cut it. That's a single 2 stars. It will move Jacoby to third base. And now checking for an error on that E11. He's got to avoid 15, 17, and 18, which he does. It's not going to be an error, but it will be a single. So pinch hit single for Carmen Castillo. And that will send Jacoby over to third base. And now here comes Rick Dempsey. And we might get a pinch hitter for Rick Dempsey as well. Chris Bando has picked up a bat, and he will hit for Dempsey and will stay in the game to catch. So Chris Bando pinch hitting in the 7th, and will stay in the game to catch in the 8th. So Chris Bando is going to come in for Dempsey. Runners on the corners and only 1 out. On the replay, Bando checks in at 167. 1 homer and 5 driven in. Infield is looking for the double play. They will be back for the double play. Nothing on the havoc. (5-4) switch hitter. Fly ball center field X. That is the center fielder Boston. He's a 3. 3-20. That's going to probably prevent a sacrifice fly. 3-20 in the outfield is an F3, so it will not be deep enough to score a run. That F3 is going to prevent that. That high D20 is going to prevent that. So now we're just checking on an error. He's an E4. Got to avoid 4 and 16. 4 and 16. That's it. Just got to avoid 4 and a 16. And he does. So it's a fly to center, but not deep enough for Jacoby to score. So everybody holds where they are. 2 down and back to the top of the order for Bernazard. Clutch situation for Bernazard. And in the clutch, he will lose hits on 2-9 and 2-10. Also lose a hit on 1-10 and on 3-12. So he's definitely anti-clutch. Definitely anti-clutch. 3-11, though, is a pop out to short, so it didn't matter about the clutch. He just popped it out to short. 3-11, pop out to short. And I want to start moving the cards back over towards the dice tray because I'm running out of room. Let's pop out to short. And at the end of 7, we are all tied up. All tied at 2. And now for defensive purposes, on the computer, Bando checks in as the catcher. And we will bring in Nixon to play center field for Castillo, who pinch hit for Gallagher. All right, Carlton. Carlton back out, or will he be back out? He pitched 1 inning and gave up 2 home runs, so he may not come back out. Although Guillen, the lefty, is going to start us off. So I think they're going to have Carlton pitch to him, and then they're going to bring in a right-hander behind him. Probably Rich Yet, just as a guess. So since we're running out of room over here, I'm going to come over here. That way the cards don't go off the screen, hopefully. I mean, it covers a little bit of this up, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. So hopefully everything will now fit. So I move the dice tray over. Maybe a little further. There we go. All right, so Guillen against Carlton. Lefty on lefty, 1-4. Ballpark single check on the 1-4. It's a 1-11. That's a 2, so it's a base hit for Ozzie Guillen. And now Carlton may have to get pulled. I think he will with the right-hander Reedus coming up. Guillen might be looking to run, so we'll put the hold on that until we can bring in a pitcher. And we are bringing in that new pitcher for the Tribe. And that pitcher's going to be, they could bring in Camacho, but I think they're going to go with Rich Yett. Rich Yett is your new pitcher for the Tribe. Carlton, not one of his better outings. He's a -4 hold. How about that? And Bando, the new catcher, is a +1 arm, so that would make him a -3. All right, so Yett has Guillen on first to try to get the lead, but with Yett coming in, it's now a -3 on the hold. So that would make that a -5 if he got the lead, but he's still going to try for the lead. Needs a 6 or a 7. Does not get the lead, it's a moot point. So Gary Reedus is your batter. Mr. Reedus is 0 for 3. Grounded to short, popped to third, and grounded to second. Let's get the numbers on Yett. The last game Yett pitched a couple games ago, he went like 5 innings in relief and pitched really well to help his numbers out. Don't know if he can duplicate that now. His ERA was really bad, but right now his ERA is down to 5.82. He's 0-1 with a save. 17 innings pitched, 15 hits, 13 walks, and 9 strikeouts. All right, Reedus. Yett to Reedus with Guillen at first and nobody out. It's a 3-7 for Reedus, and he strikes out. So Yett gets the strikeout on his first batter he faces. Big out there, 1 away for Donnie Hill, second baseman, switch hitter. Nothing on the habit. 4-5, switch hitter batting left as a fly ball to left. 2 down. So 2 away. And that'll bring up Greg Walker, left-hander. He homered off of Carlton his last time up to start the back-to-back home run thing. 6-6 to the lefty. He's going to strike out. So Rich Yett comes in and takes care of business, sets the Sox down, and that gets Carlton off the hook as well. Carlton cannot lose it. And we go to the bottom of the 8th, tied at 2. And we'll get the numbers on Carlton to finish his day, which again was less than stellar, as he is at the end of his career. 1 innings pitched, 1 plus, because he did face 1 batter in the next inning. 3 hits, 2 runs. They were earned, both of them via home runs, 1 walk, no strikeouts. So the White Sox have not struck out the entire game. All right, so Franco is going to step up. He tripled his last time up. Bottom of the 8th, tied at 2. 2 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error for Chicago. 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors for Cleveland. 5-10, and that is a fly ball center field X. That is the center fielder, Boston. He is a 3-4. 3 and a 3, that's trouble. 3 and a 3 is a double. A double off the bat of Franco. Check Boston for an error on the E4. He's got to avoid 4 and 16, which he does. But it will be a leadoff double for Julio Franco. He has tripled, and now he has doubled. And he is the go-ahead run. Joe Carter, the struggling Joe Carter, 1 is a chance of a wild pitch on Bill Long, and his wild pitch rating is a 0, so he cannot have a wild pitch. He's got a balk of 2, but a 0 and a wild pitch. So we'll keep going. 5-8, and that's a pop out to first base. So Joe Carter's struggles continue. Couldn't even advance the runner. Couldn't get it out of the infield. 1 away for Mel Hall. Long to Hall. It could be a long haul here. All 0 for 3. 3-4, and he's going to pop it up to third. So back-to-back pop-ups. Long has induced pop-ups. And now it's Corey Snyder in a clutch situation. Snyder 1 for 3 with a single, but in a clutch situation. Boy, he's got a loaded column 3, but he's anti-clutch on a 1-9 and a 1-10. .612, that's a ballpark blast. 1-8, that's a 17 though, so it's just a fly to left and the inning is over. But at least it would have been a sac fly had he done it with less than 2 outs. But Bill Long pitches around the mess. And we go to the 9th tied at 2. And Rich Yett will come back out, and he'll be facing Hairston, the new DH, who came in for Hassey earlier, and then Fisk and Calderon here in the top of the 9th. Top of the 9th. Hairston hit that pinch hit home run in his only at bat. That's a 5-8, and that's a fly to center field. One away. Brings up Pudge. That's a 4-2. That's a ground ball to first base C, so it's a 3-1 ground out as Carter flips to Yett for out number 2. And here's Calderon. That's a 4-12. Ground ball first base C. It's the same thing. Carter flips to Yett. And how about the relief job from Rich Yett? He has pitched 2 scoreless innings, retired all 6 he has faced. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance for the Tribe before it would go to extra innings. And Pat Tabler is your batter to lead things off, followed by Jacoby and Otis Nixon. So Tabler stepping to the plate against Bill Long. Hello, Mr. Prague. Good to see you. That's a 4-5, and that is a fly ball to right. Boy, 4-4 would have been a game-winning. Well, he's got weak power. It would have been a chance for a game-winning home run, but 4-5 is actually just a fly ball to right. And Calderon puts it away. Out number 1. Brings up Jacoby. 5-9. That's a line out to the second baseman Hill for out number 2. And we are 1 out away from extra innings. And Otis Nixon, who was not carded, I had to make this card myself. You can tell the difference between the cards I had to make myself and the cards that Joel Anderson made for me and mailed to me. They're, night and day, obviously. But I'll read off what I can for Otis Nixon if you can't see it very well. I mean, there's stuff in blue there. There are a lot of walks in blue. He's got tons of walks on this card. But it's off of Long. 6-12 is a ballpark blast, but he has weak power as he had no home runs on the season. So he has weak power, so he cannot get the home run. The let's see, the home run chance would be 1-8, but that's a 16, so he's going to fly to right anyway to end the inning. So Nixon flies to right, and we are going to extra innings. Extra innings we go. And Yett and Long both have relief ratings that allow them to keep pitching into the 10th. Oh, I never did the numbers on Davis, and let me do that before I get going any further with extra innings. Let's get the numbers on Davis so we can clean him up. Davis went 6 1/3. Gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, only one of which was earned, and no walks and 4 strikeouts. Because that error on Hewlett was an unearned run, obviously. So Long has gone 2 2/3, but he's going to keep going. Yet has gone 2 innings, so he's definitely going to keep going for his 3rd inning of work, and he's going to face Darryl Boston, Tim Hewlett, and Ozzie Guillen to start the top of the 10th. Rich Yet to Boston. 6'4" lefty is a ballpark single check. It's 1 to an 11. That's a 4, so Darryl Boston, a leadoff single off the ballpark card. 6'4" lefty right there, that little upside down triangle. 1 to 11 is a single, and we rolled a 4. So Boston's aboard with the leadoff single, and he could be looking to run, although Yet is a -3 hold, and that would make it a 1 to 10 if he got the lead, but they still might try it anyway. So he needs to get the lead. He needs a 2 through 7 or an 11, and he gets the lead. So 15 being held makes him a 13. Then the -3 is a 10. 1 to 10, he steals second base. And he does. So aggressive play by the White Sox, and it pays off. Darryl Boston steals second base. Gets himself in scoring position with nobody out, and he will have to be held. He runs at a 16, so they want to keep him close on any base hit. And here's Hewlett. Havoc roll. Nothing going on. Yet 2-6 to Hewlett is a fly to center. Now with the big question mark, there is a chance, I do believe, I will double check it with the rules, because when you play multiple games, sometimes the rules can be a little fuzzy. So I don't want to just assume anything. But a B question mark. I don't see anything where the guy can tag from second and go to third, though, in the rules, unless I'm missing something. Let's see here. That was advanced. Let me check super advanced just to be on the safe side. I don't really see anything on that, so I'm going to hold him up at second base. He's already in scoring position, so why risk it? Although getting to third with 1 out would be big, but we're going to hold him there. Only hit the right field. That's what I thought. That's what I was thinking. All right. So Guillen will bat against Yet. 5-7, and that is a 1 to 9 single. Anything else he lines to second? That's a 9, right on the number, but it's only 1 star. So Boston has to hold at third base. And that's going to put runners at the corners with 1 out. And now Guillen, he could possibly get in the scoring position right here. 6 or a 7. Get the lead. He does not get the lead, so he will hold. And Gary Reedus is your batter. Infield is boy, you play in. There's some B's on his card, but there's also a big plus sitting there. Couple places got pluses. Do they trust the double play is the question. They're going to play in. They don't trust the double play. They're going to play in. Reedus is pretty fast. He's not going to hit and tune me double play, so they're going to play in. 5-8, and it's ground ball shortstop X. That is Franco. He's a 2E26. 2 and an 8. That'll be interesting. 2 and an 8 for a shortstop. 2 and an 8 is a G2. G2 with the infield in, so we'll see what happens with that. His error rating is an E26, so he's got to avoid 12, 17, and 18. He does with a 3. So we go to G2 with the infield in. G2 infield in. With runners at the corners. First and third, infield in is batter. So the batter is out. Everybody else holds, except for the runner on first who's forced. He has to go to second. So he will take second, but the play is made 6-3, and they hold Boston at third. So 2 outs, runners at second and third for Donnie Hill. All right, Donnie Hill, clutch situation, obviously. And in the clutch, he loses a hit on 1-2 and on 3-9. That's a 6-5, and that's a ground ball to second. That's going to end the inning. So Yet pitches out of it yet again. Ground out to second. And we go to the bottom of the 10th. Bill Long looks like he's going to stay in there. And he'll be facing Chris Bando. And then the top of the order, Bernazard and Franco. So Chris Bando will lead it off. 1-6, and that's a line out to short. Snagged by Guillen. And it flips the order over to Bernazard. Bernazard is 0 for 4 on the game with 2 strikeouts, so he's definitely due. 3-10, but not now. He grounds to second, make him 0 for 5. Tough when your leadoff man is 0 for 5. Hard to score a lot of runs that way. Here's Franco. He has been hot. He has tripled and doubled, 2 for 4. What a time to get a home run, huh? 3-4, but he doesn't. He grounds to third. And we go to the 11th. Bill Long and Rich Yett are matching pitch for pitch. And we go to the 11th inning tied at 2. Yett will be facing Walker. It'll be Walker, Hairston, and Fisk due up for the Sox. Cleveland bullpen is now active. Ed Vandenberg, a lefty, is loosening in their bullpen. And for the White Sox, Bobby Thigpen is loosening for the Sox bullpen should they take the lead. So Greg Walker going to lead off against Yett. That's a 1-5, and that is a fly to center field. Boy, a 1-4 would have been a blast, but the 19 would have killed it anyway. But a fly to center. Otis Nixon puts it away. 1 down. And now Hairston, the DH, will be on. Hairston is 1 for 2 with a home run. That pinch hit home run gave them the lead temporarily at 2-1. It's a 4-7. Switch hitter batting to left is a walk. So Yett gives up a free pass. Hairston, not much of a runner, though. He will hold. Now, do they pinch run for Hairston? He is the DH, so they could pinch run with somebody quicker. And I believe they probably will. They're going to use Fred Manrique to pinch run. He's a 13 versus Hairston being a 10. Plus, they have to hold him on because he's got an asterisk. So Fred Manrique will pinch run. Manrique will pinch run in the 11th and stay in the game to play DH. So Manrique will have to be held. He could actually try to get the lead as well. So let's put Manrique in the game for Hairston. He will stay in the game to play DH if it goes any further than this. And on the bench now for the White Sox, they have Lyons, Royster, and Karkovice remaining on their bench. But let's see if Manrique can get the lead. Although Yett is a -3, it would be a 1-10 again if he got the lead. But with 1 out, getting him in scoring position would be huge. So a 6 or a 7 gets him the lead. does not get the lead. He will hold. So here comes Pudge Fisk. It's a 3-11 for Fisk, and that's a fly to right with a possible injury. So Karkovice might be called on to catch now, as we need to roll for injury. 1-4. Fisk can stay in the game. Anything else, he's got to come out. 4, he stays in the game, so Fisk toughs it out. And now we got Calderon. Calderon, chance to do something against Yet. 2-7, struck him out. We're going to the bottom of the 11th. And that might be all for Yet. In fact, it will be. They're going to cap Yet right here. Yet is giving them all he could give them. So, yet another fine outing for Rich Yet. He's going to go 4 innings. Give up 2 hits and no runs. Walk 1, strike out 3. If the Tribe win it in the bottom of the 11th, he would get the win. Bill Long has gone 3 2/3. So you wonder if they want to stick with him or not, or go to the bullpen. Long has pitched very well, though, since coming on. Tough call there. I think they're going to go to the bullpen, though. They don't want a tired pitcher giving up the lead if they can avoid it. So Bobby Thigpen will be coming on for the Sox. And Bill Long is going to end up going 3 2/3. 2 hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. And Bobby Thigpen will come on and try to keep the score where it is. He's a -4 hold. So -4 there. That will help stop the run game quite a bit. And we'll get the numbers on Thigpen. Thigpen on the replay is 2-0 with 4 saves and an ERA of 0. He's gone 10 innings pitched, giving up just 2 hits, no walks, and 9 strikeouts. He has been as dominant as they come. And he's going to be facing one of the guys that's probably had the worst luck of anybody in the league so far, and that's Joe Carter. Talk about super struggler. He's in a $137 in 95 at bats. So would be ironic if Joe Carter walked it off right here, as bad as he's been doing. 4-8 struck him out. Typical Joe Carter game. He's now 0 for 5. Here's Mel Hall. 4-5, and that's a single for Mel Hall. So the winning run is on first base in Hall, and Hall will not be held. He will not try anything. Here's Corey Snyder. 1 chance of a wild pitch on Thigpen. Thigpen's wild pitch rating is a 0. So is his balk. So no chance of any of that. Pitches to Snyder. 1-7, struck him out. 2 down, and it's going to be up to Mr. Tabler. 5-7 is a ground ball second base X. They were not holding him on, so the second baseman, Donnie Hill, keeps his 4-11. 4-16 is good enough. He'll get to it. Ain't no ghost runners here, folks. No ghost runners. Despise ghost runners. So a 4 and what did I say was a 16? 4 and a 16 is a G2, which is good enough. E11. Second baseman, E11, 15, 17, and 18. And he makes the play. Since it's a G2, we'll call it a fielder's choice. 4-6 to end the inning, and we're going to the 12th. So we're going to the 12th inning. Still tied at 2. And new pitcher for the Tribe will be left-hander Ed Vandenberg. because of the left-hander Daryl Boston coming up. And left-hander Guillen, right? Two batters. So 2 of the 3 batters are left-handed. That's why they're going to him instead of Camacho. So Ed Vandenberg will be coming on for the Tribe. He's got a -4 hold, so that makes him a -3. And like I said, bottom of the order, Boston, Hewlett, and Guillen due up for the White Sox. All right, Ben, you have a good one. Let's get the numbers on Vandenberg. See what he can do and what he has done. Vandenberg on the replay is 1-1, no saves, but a 9.64 earned run average. 9 innings pitched, 16 hits, 7 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Lefty on lefty to Daryl Boston. Now, they could pull Boston and go with Jerry Royster, but that would hurt them defensively. So I think they're going to stick with Boston in this situation. 1-7, and he doubles. And boy, that paid off sticking with him. 1-7 is a double for Daryl Boston. Just like that. Here's Hewlett. Vandenberg in trouble. First pitch. Hewlett the batter. 2-2. That's a Lomax line to third base. Lomax, a double play. Look at that. 2-2 is a double play. So he lines it to Jacoby. Jacoby fires to the second baseman Bernazard for a 5-5-4 double play. And talk about a way to get out of a jam. There you go. The good old Lomax strikes again. And now 1-4. Hewlett stays in the game. 5 or higher, he's got to come out. And he stays in the game, so he shakes it off, but he can't shake off that double play. 2 quick outs, and now Ozzie Guillen, the batter. 1-11 for Guillen, and he grounds it to Carter at first, and that's going to do it. Nothing doing for the White Sox in the bottom of the 12th. We go to the top of the 12th. We go to the bottom of the 12th. Second inning for Thigpen. He'll be facing Jacoby, Nixon, and Bando. Bottom of the order for the Tribe. Bottom of the 12th tied at 2. 1-11, and that is a walk. Boy, 110 would have been a walk-off home run on a ballpark blast, but 111 is a walk. So instead of a walk-off, we get a walk. Jacoby walks. He will not be held. Brings up Otis Nixon, who's a terrible bunter. So we're going to have to let him swing away and hope he gets something off of Thigpen's card. They have nobody else to bring in to play center field, so they're stuck with Nixon. And they do get off Thigpen's card. 4-7. It's a single 2 stars. Look at that. Wow. Single 2 stars. Thank you, 50-50, if you're the Cleveland Indians, because on his own, Nixon wouldn't have done that. And now runners are on the corners with nobody out. Infield's going to have to come in. Outfield's going to have to come in. Everybody's going to have to come in. I think I'm going to have to come in. And Chris Bando, Thigpen needs a strikeout of Chris Bando in the worst way. Everybody's in. 1-7, and it's a ground ball to first base A with a plus sign, and there's your ball game. Playing the infield in cost them. Base hit. Chris Bando wins the ball game. Cleveland walks it off in 12 innings, 3-2. On the RBI single through a drawn-in infield by Chris Bando. 3-2 ball game. Vandenberg will be your winner. Thigpen will be your loser. Let's get the totals overall on this interesting ball game from Cleveland. Go to the box score. For the Tribe, 3 runs, 10 hits, and no errors. For the White Sox, 2 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. Indians left on 8. White Sox left on 7. Winning pitcher was Ed Vandenberg, and he is now 2-1 as he went 1 inning, gave up a hit, nothing else. And unfortunately for Thigpen, he takes the loss to drop to 2-1. And Thigpen goes 1+ innings, gives up 3 hits and a run, walks 1, strikes out 2. And that is your ball game. Cleveland wins it to improve to 9-12. The White Sox drop to 10-7. Again, Vandenberg the winner, Thigpen the loser. Pick your own player of the game here. Kind of hard to pick one. Boy, you could give it to Yet. He went 4 innings in the bullpen and kept them solid. But Schrom pitched well too, so there's lots of different guys that could be there. Franco tripled and doubled, but neither one of those hits amounted to anything. Didn't produce any runs. So, you pick your own player of the game here, I guess. But Bando the game winner, but he came in. He's 1 for, what is he, 1 for 3? He was 1 for 3. That was his only hit. So, and he was really set up on a tee for him, first and third, nobody out. So, kind of, I think other people did more to be player of the game, but you can make your own choice on that. Cleveland wins, and that's what's important. So we update the standings. Cleveland now is now 9-12, and they are now 6.5 behind the Brewers. Chicago loses. They're now 3.5 back as they drop to 10-7. They're 3.5 back of the Oakland A's, 2 in the loss column. So those are the updated standings as of this game. Next game in the replay, all we have to do is flip the score sheet over to find out what the next game is. And it's going to be the New York Yankees and the Texas Rangers, Dennis Rasmussen against Ed Correa. That should be tomorrow night, hopefully, around 9-ish, I'm guessing, Eastern, 8:30 to 9-ish Eastern, hopefully. I mean, not written in stone, but hopefully. And so that's what we're shooting for on that one. But this one, 12 innings in the books. Cleveland wins it by the score of 3-2 on a walk-off Chris Bando single. So I do thank everyone that tuned in for some Strat-O-Matic. These 2 days off I've kind of done a lot of Strat-O-Matic games, daytime and nighttime, like I was doing double headers or something. But when you have time to do it, and this is what I like to do in my free time, so there you go. But it's back to work tomorrow, and then, of course, just work the one day, and then voila, you got the weekend. So, all right, that's going to do it from here. Thank you again for tuning in. Hope you're having a wonderful evening, and hope your weekend that's coming up is going to be a good one for you. Don't forget to check out other channels like RJL and Utah Mike, Jeffrey Guterman, Spokane Steve. Check out some wrestling from Dave Little. He's probably got some wrestling tomorrow night going on with his wrestling league. So check that out as well. And, of course, check out Uncle Ron and Dave Gardner and a whole host of others who stream pretty regularly on YouTube. So until tomorrow, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.